Just the back and forth momentum swap. But there's a big rock. Here comes Romero. But a pull counter.
There we go. We have a champion, ladies and gentlemen.
Alrighty, today we're showcasing Neil Magny. Neil Magny, who's taking on Mike Malott. Not Mallet, apparently. Mike Malott. I'll try to pronounce it correctly as I go through this Magny showcase. Now, I'm not going to do the entire breakdown that I've been doing. One, because I need to have enough time to pump out the rest of these showcases. And two, Neil Magny's pretty much been designated the role of a gatekeeper in the welterweight division. It's pretty clear what his tools are. Where when he fights to his strengths, where he keeps his opponents at the end of his long-ass reach, which I think his reach is about something like an 80-inch reach, pops a good jab, doesn't get decimated by kicks, he tends to do really well. The other thing about him is that he tries to clinch his opponents, right? We're going to enter the clinch and see if we can get ourselves a takedown. Yes, we do. All right, perfect. And we're with Neil Magny. A lot of his wins have come by, you guessed it, decision. Now, he does have some finishes, but they come in far and few in between. Of course, he does have some recent finishes, most notably the Darce choke win over Daniel Rodriguez, which not a lot of people expected. They expected Daniel Rodriguez to get him out of there. So that kind of segues into my next point, in which, with Neil Magny, can he play spoiler against Mike this weekend? And as speaking of spoiler, this Gilbert Burns is intent on keeping me in rubber guard. So, fuck, he denied that too, all right? We're going to have to be very smart here. The answer is, well, I did watch a bit of the footage from Mickey Gall versus Mike Malott. I watched the bout, saw a little bit of deficiencies in the clinch from Mike, but of course he has a pretty clean arm and guillotine, has good submission threats all around, and he has way more power than Neil Magny. I think that much is clear. So Neil Magny can absolutely win this fight if he makes it a stall to the wall, clinch, stomp on the toes, do everything that he needs to do to win, to slow down his opponent, who comes out firing. He's a very, very fast starter. And Mike Malott is, they're in Canada. The script is there, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's right there. And they're looking to use Neil Magny as a means to propel him into the top ranks of welterweight, much like they did with Ian Gary not too long ago. Ian Gary, outside of that fight, probably should have been called as a finish for Gary. They just, how many times you get to see a dude get knocked down by leg kicks to call for a fight and save him from himself? But the thing about Neil Magny is, in all of his losses against elite competition, he tends to get finished, right? So let's say, obviously it was a decision loss against Ian Gary, but also would have been, right? He had a win against Philip Rose, but decision via one stall. Gilbert Burns, who we're facing off against right now, submitted him. He upsets Daniel Rodriguez with a Darce choke, gets submitted by Shavkat Rakhmonov, which is no joke. Max Griffin wins that one by split decision. Prior to that, he beat Jeff Neal. We got ourselves a takedown here, which another fight that he played spoiler. I'm pretty sure he was the underdog for that. Lost to Michael Chiesa in a 5-round bout, which was, again, surprising to me. He also defeated a former champion, Robbie Lawler. So Neil Magny, he'll beat champions. He'll beat guys who, I know he beat Carlos Condit, beat Johnny Hendricks. Like, he beat some of the who's who in the welterweight division since its time being incepted into the UFC. But then he'll just fall short where he needs to. And time is ticking for him, right? He is, what did I think? How old is he? 35? I think he's like 35 or 36. The Haitian sensation, he has to win this bout. Because if he stays around much longer after this and he doesn't get a good streak going, they're just going to keep feeding him to these hungry contenders who are going to do harm to him. And I don't know if he's going to be able to keep doing this for too long. So we'll see. If Neil Magny gets a W, then I'll do another Neil Magny showcase. Okay, that's what I'll do. And then I'll do the whole breakdown that you guys have been loving. It ain't boding well for the homeboy. I don't think it's going to go that well. But we got ourselves a pass over here to side control, which is pretty good. I'll say this too. With Neil Magny, there's a clear weakness with him. We're going to circle back to Ian Gary, right? Prior to that, it's not like it was a rocket science for Ian Gary to attack the legs of Neil Magny. 2017, when he faced against Rafael dos Anjos, what swept him to the mat was a solid leg kick from Rafael dos Anjos, and led to the subsequent finish when he got on top, pressure, arm triangle, you know what I'm saying. After that was Santiago Ponzinibbio in 2018, where I remember watching this bout because I was at Buffalo Wild Wings, and Santiago Ponzinibbio invested in the leg kicks, opened up the overhand, and knocked out Neil Magny. I forgot what the scorecards were prior to the finish, but I just want to ask y'all, as my audience, if you were a coach, right? Or even the athlete themselves. So you've taken some 2 big losses, and they were really important fights that you really had to win. And there's a theme where you're getting finished because your opponents are leg kicking you. Wouldn't that implore you to work on your leg kick defense? We fast forward into 2023, that has not changed. I mean, even against Shafkat as well, got grapple fuck. He just didn't have any answer for kicks and things of that nature. So the blueprint is there to beat Neil Magny. Mike is more than capable of doing so, but Neil Magny is more than capable of just, I don't know how big the octagon size is. Go for the triangle choke. How big the octagon size is in Canada. Where are they? Vancouver? No, Toronto. That usually plays a factor. I remember with RDA fighting Michael Chiesa, the octagon was smaller than usual. And I remember, go for the armbar. RDA, he was piecing up Chiesa, but Chiesa just had that damn cage to keep bringing him down. Of course, RDA kept going for the Kimura, and he caused himself position, but we'll talk about that another time. I just don't, a win by decision is pretty much Neil Magny's best bet, and it's going to start out. He needs to slow this kid down early. Wear on him, stay positionally sound, but Mike starts out with a lot of fast kicks, attacks high, goes low, can fight out of both stances pretty well. I think it's going to go on the lines of where Mike starts out with a head kick first, gets Neil Magny backing up, chops at the legs. Neil Magny's probably going to try to shoot at one point, and we'll probably see either, if it's not a knockout finish, probably a submission finish when Neil tries to shoot in on the legs of Mike. Mike will probably reverse the position, end up in top mount, and end up submitting him. I think that's going to be the likely outcome. But we do the what we're doing here to this Gilbert Burns. If Neil Magny gets that going against Mike, we can have ourselves an upset. And I'm a big fan of upsets when it's a cool one. When it's a cool one. So ends this 3rd round. And I think the key thing with Magny 2 in UFC 5, he's very, very hard to use. Very difficult to use if you want to play on the outside. We're having a good time now. It's pretty sure it's 1-1 because he got the rock in the first round. Going to try to work a bit more of our cage game. Press him up. Body teep. Go for the takedown. Beautiful work. Try to rack up a couple multiple takedowns. See, this position would be great to get cage seated, EA. The animation's right there. Run the pipe, sit him down, get another takedown. Good job. Pass into side control. But I want to know y'all thoughts on the bout. Obviously, it's going to be tomorrow. And it just almost feels like Neil Magny's just a lamb to the slaughter this weekend. And I hate to see that because the Haitian sensation, I root for the guy pretty much a good amount of the time. Except for when he fights a couple fighters that I like. But I root for him for a good amount of times. But it's just very frustrating to see a fighter with an 80-inch reach, with the height advantage that he has at welterweight, still make a lot of the same mistakes that he's been making for years. Myself as an athlete, I remember, that was close. One of the biggest things, being new to the sport of wrestling, for example, I had a hard time with leg defense. So what I did was I'm going to have to get used to fighting legs. So I would work from that position until I figured out ways to escape leg rides and whatnot. That's what you have to do as an athlete. You got to put yourself in uncomfortable positions so you can get your defense better. And the leg kicks, it's not just Neil Magny. It's a lot of grapplers. They opt to try to catch the kicks. There's a time and place to be catching kicks, yes. But it's not something you should always try to do, especially you're risking the chance of a shin, breaking a hand. Just a lot of bad stuff that can happen to you. We got ourselves a minute and 40 on the clock, and we're running out of time here. Remember, he doesn't get control time here in our guard. I think we pretty much have the submission in the bag. I said submission. The decision in the bag. Don't need to pursue anything too crazy. Hang back. Ooh, his body health is low. Huh. Another body tee. Lunge out the way. Ah, forgot he doesn't have the bypasses here. Lead knee lands. Lead body hook. Neil, don't fumble. Neil, do not fumble. Oh, my lord. Bro. Could not clinch him for my life. Yeah, we got... I mean, you kind of have to go here, Gibbler. Okay, you kind of have to go, Gibbler. If you know, you know. Go, pop him with the 1, 2, 3. Ah, head movements doo-doo. All right. That should be a clear one for us. Not too long of a showcase. It's pretty much my rundown assessment of Neil Magny. I think we did a pretty good job of portraying what he's going to need to do to get the W this weekend. I think it's pretty much clear. To play spoiler, it's going to be a lot of cage work. Keeping Mike at the end of his punches. Hopefully upgraded his kicking defense. Yeah, we got that decision. So that's going to be it for Mr. Haitian Sensation Romero 17. I appreciate all of you. Much love. And take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let Bruce Buffer say it was going to be. There we go. Take care.